Good morning to all and welcome to the session, the Hindu editorial analysis for proficiency in English. Today's editorial, it is about inflation, the rise in the prices at the retail level as well as the wholesale level. And there are some important words. As such, it's an important editorial because it goes with economy. And there are about 10 to 12 words which are very important: precarity, levy, spiraling, propel, mainstay, unabated, stubborn. As I said yesterday, I'm not going to give the meanings. When I read the sentence, you have to look at the context and try to guess the meaning. After that, I will tell the meaning. I will disclose the meaning of that particular word. And when it comes to practice questions based on exam topics, today you're going to work on error location, para jumble, phrase replacement, idioms, as usual, editorial words and meanings. Let us go to the editorial and see how it starts. And whenever you see a word in red, that means it's an important word, and you have to guess the meaning. So it starts with only two words: growing precarity. Now, what do you understand? Not easy to guess because it is not a sentence, just two words, and still you can guess based on the prefix. If you look at the prefix, pre means before. But what do you think the meaning of the word precarity? There is another form, precarious situation, which is quite popular. It is in usage. Very good. Who is this? Yakub has got it right. Precarious or precarity means to be in a dangerous position because something is not firm. Something is not firm, then you are in a dangerous situation. Then we use the word precarity, but generally the form used is precarious, and the typical collocation or combination, precarious situation. So growing precarity means what? Growing danger. And this context goes with inflation, danger related to inflation. Now, what is the main idea of the editorial? Fuel levies must be cut to ease the burden on consumers reeling under rising inflation. I should have brought this word in red, it doesn't matter, I will underline. Now, fuel levies must be cut to ease the burden on consumers reeling under rising inflation. This is the main idea, but there are two words. One is levy, levies. What do you think the meaning? You all should be knowing because you're all bank aspirants. Levy goes with a particular word. It goes with taxes. Good morning. It goes with taxes, levy taxes. So based on that, I'll give the combination. You try to guess. Are you guys there? No one has guessed. Very good. Who is this? Balu Nayak. Exact word, impose. Levy means impose. It goes with taxes usually. Now, the second word, reeling under. They are reeling under pressure. Means what? Here, reeling under rising inflation, but generally we say reeling under tremendous pressure. So, what does it mean? Reeling under means, yes, you guys are there, but I want you guys to respond. Already a few students have responded to the word levy, levies. Now, my question: what is the meaning of reeling under? It has got two different meanings. Based on the context, you try to guess. Not exactly control, to be under the pressure of something. Reeling under, to be in a way controlled, but to be staggered by something, to be controlled by something. Perhaps that's what you mean. That is one meaning. What is the other meaning of the word reeling? To reel means, sometimes we say my head is reeling. That means what? Something, your head, you have a feeling that something is going round and round. And for that, there's another word, giddy. You can also say, I have a giddy feeling. My head is reeling, or I have a giddy feeling. Means what? Things are going round and round. But here, to be staggered by, to be controlled by. Now, what exactly does the sentence mean? Or the main idea of the editorial, what does it mean? Fuel levies must be cut. They have to cut the levies on fuel for what? What is the objective? To ease the burden, to reduce the burden on consumers reeling under rising inflation. Consumers right now, they're under tremendous pressure. What is that? Staggered by what? rising inflation. You all must be knowing the word inflation. It means what? The purchasing power, the purchase power comes down. That is one way to look at it. The other meaning of the word inflation, the prices go up and the purchasing power comes down. Then we use the word inflation. So the consumers are reeling under rising inflation. To make them feel comfortable, to ease a burden, the editorial says fuel levies must be cut. They must be cut to ease the burden. Easy to understand. Now let us go and see how it starts and how it goes about. The latest inflation data based on retail and wholesale. As I said, this editorial talks about two dimensions. One thing, inflation. Again, inflation, dimensions. One is retail, the other one, wholesale. The latest inflation data based on retail and wholesale prices are yet again flashing cautionary signals as spiraling costs continue to dog the pandemic hit economy. Now, what is happening? The present scenario, there is an inflation. Obviously, the editorial talks about that on two fronts. One is a retail front, the other one is a wholesale front. And what is the indication? This particular situation or the scenario, it is sending or flashing cautionary signals. It means that we have to be cautious, we have to be careful. It goes with the government and the economy. As spiraling costs, this is an important word. It has got two different meanings. Try to guess the meaning of the word spiraling costs. That combination is also very important. So, one meaning spiraling, coiled, twisted. Very good. But in this context, it doesn't mean that. What does it mean? Increasing or decreasing? Generally, it goes with increasing. Imagine the prices are going up continuously. Then we use a word, the spiraling costs or the spiraling prices. It also goes with salaries and wages. Salaries, wages. And obviously, in this context, it goes with prices. Remember the combination. This word goes with sync model. What is sync model? Sometimes in the exam, they give two sentences, each one with a blank. They give five options. You have to choose one word that goes with both the sentences. That's what precisely we call sync model. And RBI, they started this model, sync model, and now other banks also they give that particular model. Our questions based on that particular model. And spiraling has got two different meanings. And I would like to tell you guys, whenever you come across words with two different meanings, you got to be alert and you have to remember they're very important from the exam point of view. You may ask, sir, why? They may come under sync model. This one has been given spiral, two different meanings. One meaning we all know. If you take a particular shell, a typical seashell, what is a shape? Spiral. But another different meaning, increase, continuous increase in salaries, wages, or prices. It could be increase or, thank you very much, it could be increase or decrease, but generally, usage point of view, we say increase, continuous increase. And there's one idiomatic expression. This sentence talks about the retail and wholesale prices are going up, inflation when it comes to retail and wholesale. And this particular situation or scenario is flashing or sending cautionary signals as spiraling costs continue to dog. Try to guess the meaning of the word idiomatic expression continue to dog means what? If you come across in the syllabus, if you have English, any competitive exam, imagine you have English part. It is useful beyond any doubt because in this session every day we work on three aspects that go with English language. And from the exam competitive exams point of view, one, reading comprehension skill, second, vocabulary, third, grammar, and definitely it is going to be useful. I have answered that question, but what is the meaning of continue to dog, continue to trouble? Have you got it? I Has anyone answered that? Continue to dog means I have a request. If you cannot guess the meaning of that particular word, simply write we don't know, difficult to guess, but don't keep quiet because I'll be waiting for your responses. The spiraling costs continue to dog the pandemic hit economy. Already economy has been hit severely by the pandemic. Now, these spiraling costs continue to dog. It means continue to trouble. What is the meaning? Continue to trouble. Continue to dog someone or something means continue to trouble. Now it provides a data all about the different areas, the different commodities, and inflation based on the main idea, that is inflation. CPI based inflation stayed stuck above the RBI 6% upper bound for the second straight month, with June's provisional annualized 6.2 6%, only a touch slower than the 6 month high pace of 6.3 registered in May. So, this sentence is nothing to learn as such, purely based on statistical data, almost 5 or 6 sentences. Supposed to be at upper bound 6%, but June it was 6.26% and May 6.3%. Inflation at the retail level was largely propelled by sharp increases in key food item prices. Now, what do you think the meaning of the word? Two dislikes. It doesn't matter. I don't care. Now, please go to propelled means what? That doesn't matter. Propelled. Try to guess the meaning of the word propelled. Inflation at the retail level was largely propelled means what? By sharp increases in key food item prices. Largely propel means to push forward or to drive forward. In this context, you could also use the word fueled by. Inflation at the retail level was largely propelled by sharp increases in key food item prices, including oils and fats, which surged almost 35% from a year earlier and gained 2.9% from May's levels, as also egg, which jumped 19.4% year on year. This is an important expression, year on year, and 6.2% from the preceding month, and pulses and products, which climbed 10% from June 2020. All these talk about the statistical data increase in the percentages. As RBI officials are reviewing the state of the economy in the central bank's monthly bulletin released on Thursday, observed fuel inflation, which excludes petrol and diesel, surged to a record 12.7% in June, driven by LPG, kerosene, and the rural poor's mainstay, firewood and dung cake. A lengthy sentence. Now, what does it talk about? It talks about the bulletin, state of the economy in the central bank's monthly bulletin, reviewing, as RBI officials reviewing, observed. Observation by the RBI officials, and it has been published in State of the Economy monthly bulletin. According to that observation, fuel inflation, which excludes petrol and diesel, the editorial talks about those two at a later stage, surged to a record 12.7% in June, driven by LPG, kerosene, and the rural poor's mainstay, firewood, and dung cake. Now, there's one word, mainstay. What do you think the meaning of the word mainstay? A rural poor's mainstay means what? It talks about again the percentages. Here it talks about a surge to a record 12.7% in June, excluding petrol and diesel, and driven by LPG, kerosene, and the rural poor's mainstay, firewood, and dung cake. Mainstay means the main person or main thing that someone depends on. You depend on someone, you depend on something mainly. Then we call that mainstay. If you take the village people, the rural people, they depend on agriculture. So, what is the mainstay of village people, or what is the mainstay of rural people? Then the answer is going to be agriculture. Mainstay means someone or something on which you depend a lot to a great extent. Firewood and dung cake. Usually we say cow dung cake. Can you guess the meaning of the word dung cake or cow dung cake? Important, main thing. Cow dung cake. It has nothing to do with the regular cake. Cow dung cake means what? Cow dung means whatever the cow discharges, or it is like the waste of the cow. and that is known as cow dung. With that, in villages, what they do, they try to make cakes, not literally cakes, and they use as they use for fire fuel. So that is known as cow dung cake or dung cake. And disconcertingly, LPG and kerosene prices have also registered increases so far in July. Now, what is the meaning of the word disconcertingly? Disconcertingly means what? And disconcertingly, LPG and kerosene prices have also registered increases. That is something exactly, that is the Telugu word, kali, excreta of cows, that is also right. Used as fertilizer, used as fire, for fire, fuel, not fire. Now, here, disconcertingly means in a state of anxiety or uncertainty, to be in a state of, it has a negative connotation. In a state of anxiety, in a state of uncertainty, we use something bad. Transport costs remain persistently high as both petrol. Now, the editorial talks about two important things. One is petrol, the other one diesel. Transport costs remain persistently high as both petrol and diesel prices continue to rise, with the former now averaging 102.92 a litre in the four major metros as on July 12th, and the diesel at almost 94 according to the bulletin article. According to the bulletin article, again, it talks about petrol and diesel, the prices. With the global crude oil trending higher, the unabated rise in the domestic transportation cost is bound to reflect in retail prices of farm produce and products shipped from factories. Now, there's one word here, unabated, means what? We have got this word many a time and it goes with unabated rains. It goes with the rains and it goes with troubles, hardships. Unabated means without any reduction, without any, the intensity not coming down. Unabated, without any control, without any stopping. Unabated rise means without stopping, continuously going up. That's what it means. And we have got that word many a time. Now it talks about, so far it has talked about it has talked about the retail prices, and now it talks about wholesale. Wholesale price inflation also stayed stubbornly high at 12.07% in June, after May's record 12.94%, as price gains in the fuel and power category soared 32.8% annually, and those of manufactured products edged up to 10.88%. Again, everything the sentence talks about the data. What is the meaning of the word stubbornly high? The word stubborn goes with everyday English. He is stubborn, she is stubborn. It also goes with kids and donkeys usually. As stubborn as a donkey, there's a popular saying. Yes, that's right. Stubborn means adamant, unwilling to change. Medium and small scale industrial units already struggling to cope with the pandemic's impact on demand and overall finances now face rising raw material and input costs. This talks about what is the impact on medium and small scale industrial units. Already they are under tremendous stress because of the pandemic, struggling to cope with the pandemic's impact on demand. The demand has come down and overall finances, that is also a problem. Now they have a new problem. What is that? Now face rising raw material and input costs. Raw material will go up and input costs will go up. That is another problem they're going to face. With manufacturing activity contracting in June for the first time in 11 months, as per IHS Markit's PMI, the letters stand for Purchase Managers Index. The economy is visibly struggling to regain traction in the wake of the second wave, which has eroded demand and consumptive capacity in both urban and rural markets. So, according to one particular report and IHS Markit's PMI, Purchase Managers Index, the economy is visibly struggling, beyond any doubt, to regain traction. This is a new word. Traction means to try to guess the meaning of the word traction from your end. Then I will tell the meaning. Eroded, soil erosion, the typical combination. Erode means what? To remove. Traction means to move something on a surface, to cause something to move on a surface. Erode means what? To remove. Demand and consumptive capacity in both urban and rural markets. And to this, the looming possibility, we have got the word loom. Loom large means what? Something that exists in a vague manner, and it could be a sort of threat, something that is frightening, and that could be a threat, but large in size, not clear, a bit vague. And to this, a looming possibility that this year's monsoon rains may be less than adequate, either temporally or spatially, disrupting the agricultural output, and the outlook for both inflation and growth gets significantly clouded. Again, the same problem. And one more dimension here. What is that? Appear as a threat. That you have to remember. Loom has a negative connotation. And to this, a looming possibility that this year monsoon rains may be less than adequate, not going to be adequate, either temporally. Temporally has got two different meanings. In this context, it means related to time temporally. But another meaning related to religion, traditions, beliefs, temporally means secular, not believing or someone does not believe in a particular religion, then we use the word secular. Temporally also means secular. In this context, it means related to time. Disrupting agricultural output, interrupting agricultural output, and the outlook for both inflation and growth gets significantly clouded. Not a positive thing. With cumulative rainfall, with cumulative rainfall since June 1st being 5% below average and 12 weather subdivisions spanning 37% of the country's area experiencing deficient rainfall as on July 15th, and the pandemic still nowhere near under control, the risk of precarity and hardship arising in the rural hinterland is very real. This is nothing but the reiteration of the same idea, but the focus is more on rural hinterland. There's an important word, but let us go to the first one. It's a lengthy sentence. I think it's only one sentence up to here. It looks like a paragraph. With cumulative, taking everything into consideration, adequate, not adequate, taking everything into consideration, cumulative effect. With cumulative rainfall since June 1st being 5% below average and 12 weather subdivisions spanning 37% of country's area. Spanning means what? Spreading, ranging or spreading. Very good, Divya. Ranging or spreading 37% of the country's area experiencing deficient rainfall as on July 15th. And the pandemic still nowhere near under control. The risk of precarity, danger, and hardship. Hardship means problems rising in the rural hinterland is very real. Now, there's an important word here, hinterland. Try to guess the meaning of the word hinterland. Hinterland means what? A rural hinterland. Hardship means difficulty, hardships, difficulties, or problems. Hinterland means away from the heart of the country, the middle of the heart of the city, or away from the town, away from the city, and away from the coastal areas. Deep inland, we use the word hinterland. Away from the cities, away from the towns, away from the coasts, we use the word hinterland. Deep inside the mainland. Now, how does the editorial end? The government must, at the very least, cut fuel taxes to ease the burden on consumers. The same main idea being reiterated. What should be done at this stage? The government must, at the very least, cut fuel taxes to ease the burden on consumers. Same thing. Starting, whatever the idea, it has been repeated. Away from cities and towns, and also the coasts. So that's all about this editorial, all data based, statistics based, not that difficult to understand, but some important words are there. Now let us go to the first word, precarity. But generally we use the form precarious, precarity. In danger because not firmly fixed, likely to fall or suffer harm, dangerous situation, a remote area. That also you can say. Yes, Tripatira. Now, levy, impose, usually it goes with a tax, fee, or fine. Let us go to spiraling, an important word, to go and especially rise or fall. But generally, we convey the idea rise continuously in a spiral course, continuous rise, propel, to drive or cause to move forward or onward, propelled. Mainstay, someone wanted to know a person or thing on which something else is based or depends. Something is very important, you depend on that, that is known as a mainstay. For rural people, agriculture is a mainstay. We have got this many a time, unabated, without any reduction in intensity or strength. Intensity does not come down and strength does not come down. Then we use the word unabated, and usually it goes with reins. Stubborn, refusing to change an opinion or course of action. Adamant, stubborn. Traction, the action of drawing or pulling, making something move over a surface. This is a new word, a bit difficult to understand. Temporally, an important word. It means what? Relating to time, one meaning. To worldly as opposed to spiritual affairs. You can also think of the word secular. Hinterland, a region lying inland from a coast. Coast, towns, cities away from the coast. So it is known as inland, lying inland, hinterland. That's an important word. Now, what are the likely questions you can think of based on the editorial comprehension point of view? What is this editorial about? What continues to dog, idiomatic expression, the pandemic hit economy? You can easily answer. What propelled inflation at the retail level? Keywords: propelled inflation at the retail level, not at the wholesale level. And what is a rural poor's mainstay? What are the key words over here? Rural poor and also the word mainstay. What is bound to reflect in retail prices of farm produce and products shipped from factories? Again, keywords you can answer. That's all about the editorial. Now let us go to practice questions based on exam topics. And here, the first five questions go with error location. Read the sentence, and if one particular student answers the question, then I will give the answer. Till that time, I will wait. It is analytical, analytical, purely analytical. Data, a lot of data has been provided, and it talks about wholesale, retail, inflation. And at the fag end, you can also say suggestive. But the entire editorial is based on, that's what I'm answering. It is analytical. Please answer the first question. Please mention the question number, Prasad's. Are you talking about question number one? Ah, very good. Ramadevi has got it right. I request you guys, please mention the question number. While residential land purchases have benefited many investors, buying land can be risky. Buying land can be risky, especially for a NRI is not correct. It should be an NRI. What is the reason? How do you pronounce this N? N or M? The word begins with a vowel sound. If a particular word begins with a vowel letter or a vowel sound, we should use an NRI. Very good. It is related to, the question is related to what? Articles. Let us go to question number two. I would like to reiterate, I have seen the slide. I will wait for your response. Question number two. Once you answer, then I will start speaking so that you don't get disturbed. No one has answered so far. Very good. Who is this? Malyadri has got it right. A family office has to, helping verb. It talks about an obligation imposed by an external authority or a situation. A family office has to execute all tasks related to manage the wealth is not correct. This is an important question because a lot of students have a fixed idea what is it. After to, we have to use a verb in the basic form. Not always. Here, the preposition relate goes with relate. The preposition to goes with the word relate. Related to. Take a pause. Ask the question what. Then here you cannot use a verb. You have to use a noun, and we have to use managing. Here, managing is a noun, the verb, noun form of a verb. Related to what? Managing the wealth of the upper rich family. So we call the technical term for that is gerund. So this question is about one is a word form, and also you can think of it is about noun. And don't have fixed ideas when it comes to English. And under pressure, you think to manage, nothing wrong. So you go to other words and you try to focus on other words. You have to read the sentence related to something. That something should be a noun. Manage is a verb. What is the noun form of that particular word? Managing. A good question. That's a good question. Please read question number 3. Yes, that's right. Please go to the next question. Very good. Ramadevi has got it. Obviously, any question you have to read the sentence meticulously. She has got it right. And after that, I see Sudhakar also and Arvind also. Service providers in the financial industry, especially private banks. Here you cannot use the word specially. It should be especially. What is the difference? Specially means for a particular person, for a particular thing, something very specific. But especially means emphasizing, you're trying to emphasize. This context, service providers in the financial industry, especially private banks and wealth management firms, you're trying to stress or emphasize, then the right word is especially, not specially. So, what is this question about? Appropriate word. Specially is not the appropriate word, especially is the appropriate word. Now, please go to question number 4. Start grammar also. What does it mean? Vamsi Yadav. What do you mean by start grammar? No one has responded. Strange. No, no. If you respond, then I will also respond. Here, aided aided by the cheerful company of her newfound friends. Nothing wrong in that. The actress opens up about coming to terms. This expression, come to terms, does not take the preposition on. It takes the preposition come to terms with. So, where is the error? There is an error in the fourth part. Come to terms with. It is not on. The question is based on prepositional combination. Come to terms with the situation, come to terms with something, not on. The right preposition with. No one has got it right. That's a tough question. Means what? It's a tough question. Now I see Nirmala says with. That is a correct word or correct preposition. Please go to the last one based on error location. Once I say there is an error, one particular area, there ends the matter. Don't look at the sentence. There is no other error. Don't analyze, go to the next question. You cannot have two errors in the same sentence, only one error. No, no, that's what I'm telling. I will consider Yakub. Eating a lot of, a few students have responded, eating a lot of processed meat can lead, you have to stop here. Can is what? A helping verb, a model. After any helping verb, any model, if you have to use a verb, that verb should be in the basic form without to. For that, we call that bare infinitive. So here it cannot be led, it should be lead. Can lead to micronutrient deficiencies and cause hunger. And this question is about bare infinitive. What is it about? Bare infinitive. Remember, what is the rule? After the helping verb, if you have to use a verb, that verb should be in the basic form without to, or bare infinitive. Bare infinitive means what? Basic form of a verb without to. Without to. Please go to the next set of questions. Phrase replacement. Please don't use V1, V2, V3. Not in my session. The performance of, please read the sentence. The next 5 questions are based on phrase replacement. Good. 4, good score. That's really good. Now one student has responded, 1C. The performance of our players was rather than. Now it is like comparative form, and worse. What is a worse and worst? You cannot use a superlative form. You have to use a comparative form. The performance of our players was worse than I had expected. It is not bad. Expectation is not correct. Worst is again not correct. So, what is this question about? Comparative form. Bad, worse, worst. Bad is a positive form, worse is a comparative form, worst is a superlative form. Here we have to use a comparative form. Let us go to question number 2. Please mention the question number. Bad, worse, worst, good, better, best. Very good. What is the answer for the second one? No one has responded. You guys are taking a lot of time. I'm sorry to say that. Now I see Nagamani says 2D. It is always better to make people realize the importance of discipline than to impose. No, no, there is an error. What are you talking about? It is always better to make people realize the importance of discipline than to impose it on it, impose it on them, it should be impose it with them. Here, oh, you guys have said D. I thought D is no correction required. Absolutely right. Many students have got it right. Impose it on them. Perfect. Here it should be it, and also people, them. Impose it on them. Now let us go to here. The question is about one aspect at least, subject verb agreement. Let us go to question number 3. This is a good question, important one rather. C, what is C? You have just answered a similar question. The crops were dying. Again, there's a helping verb, but the word not is there. After the helping verb, you cannot use the verb in any form other than the bare infinitive. Based on that, it should be have. It must not have rained. So this is again related to, you have just got bare infinitive. Question is about bare infinitive. And what you have to recollect the difference between might have done, must have done. I'll make two sentences. I'll give two examples. She might have taken. This talks about a past possibility, which is a guess. She must have taken. It talks about a past possibility, which is a not possibility. It talks about a deduction based on the past. Deduction that goes into the past. Deduction goes into the past. Guess, might have. Deduction, you should use must have. Now let us go to question number 4. They were all shocked at his failure in the competition. Not conclusion, guess, guess. Might have is only a guess, and must have is a conclusion, deduction, based on the facts. Fourth option, someone says E. They were all shocked at his failure in the competition. There is no error. Very good answer is no correction required. Question number 5. Almost all the students have got it right. Please go to question number 5. He is too impatient for tolerating is not correct. It should be to tolerate. Too impatient to tolerate. Here we cannot use the ing form of the verb. We should use the basic form with to. Very good. Many students have got it right. Now let us go to the para jumble. Yes, yes, that's right. Please go to para jumble. 4 is good. You should be happy. What is this 1C? You mean to say the first part? Yes. Ever since the dawn of civilization, man has been fighting with man. C is the first sentence. What is the second one? One C is correct. Already a lot of students have answered, and 2A is correct. What is the reason? Ever since the dawn of civilization, man has been fighting with man. The same word. The history of mankind is full of such fightings. Already mentioned, such demonstrative adjectives, such fightings. Based on that, A is the second sentence. After that, it should become very easy for you. Then from primitive, primitive opposite modern, primitive weapons, B is the next one. A modern war, that is the next one. BD, yes, someone has already answered. And what is the last one? The only difference now seems to be in the efficiency of the instruments used for killing each other. So what is the correct order? CABDE. Easy one, but from the previous year's papers. Now let us go to idioms. CABDE. Perfect. Eat humble pie means what? Yes, yes. Many students have got it right. That's wonderful. Please go to the next slide. Idioms. 1C. Eat humble pie. Make a humble apology and accept humiliation. This is an important one. They have given in many competitive exams, especially SBI. Apple pie order. Apple pie order means everything in place. Oh, this should have been F. No, no, there's a, this should be, I will mark it as D and this one E. Take it as D, not A, B, C, D, E. Only five. Apple pie order, everything in place. Apple of discord. No, apple of discord means bone of contention. Both mean the same. Apple of discord, bone of contention. Both mean the same. Apple of one's eye, someone's favorite person. Someone's favorite person. And comparing apples and oranges, comparing dissimilar things. So, what is CDAEB? That's perfect. Now, let us go to the last slide, editorial words and meanings. Precarity, part of speech. First, you guess the part of speech. Matter of dispute, that is also right. Yes. Thank you very much, Naresh. Please go to. So, all the five correct. Familiar ones, but important. Noun, precarity. Noun means what? Something that is in a dangerous situation, in danger. That's right. Levy, part of speech, verb, usually it goes with taxes. What is the meaning of that? This is also an important word. 1G over 2 is what? D. Impose. No, levy is a verb. It could be a noun. Thank you. Thank you very much. Naresh, Yakub. Spiraling. Spiral verb. Spiraling prices, then it changes to adjective. So what does it mean? 3E. No, no. Spiraling means what? Rise or fall. Usually rise. J is the answer. Third one. And propel, part of speech verb, it means what? Cause to move forward. F is the answer. Mainstay, a person or thing on which someone depends. B is the answer. Part of speech noun. Unabated, adjective, means what? Without reduction in intensity or strength. Stubborn, part of speech adjective. What does it mean? Not willing to change. Traction, verb. I think it's a noun, not a verb. It's a noun. And pulling something onto a surface. I is the answer. Temporally, an important word, two different meanings. Noun, it could be adjective as well. Temporal, temporally. Means what? Relating to time. Answer is E. Hinterland, lying inland from the coast or town or city. Answer is A, part of speech noun. That's all from today's editorial. An important editorial. You have to spend some time. Anything related to economy is important, do remember. And I will see you guys tomorrow with another editorial to enrich your language proficiency. Have a nice day. Do remember to subscribe and share. And there's a Telegram group. All that you have to do, click on the link. And after the session, I'll provide the PDF. 8 out of 10, that's good. All the 10 correct.